Hi, this is Dan Warnicki, and I'm going to be talking about the literature review for my behavior change project. So, my behavior change project is on teaching a 22-year-old man with autism vocational skills. Specifically, the target behavior is trying to increase his time using a shredding machine. So, with that in mind, the literature review article I selected to talk about today is called A Meta Analysis of Behavioral Interventions for Adolescents and Adults with Autism Spectrum Disorders. It was published in 2014 and it's by Roth, Gillis, and DeGennaro Reed. So, the research purpose of the article, it's right there in the title. It's a meta analysis. So, they were trying to calculate the effect size of behavioral interventions for adolescent and adult populations. They looked at 43 studies, but I'm going to look at a particular section that they had devoted especially to vocational skills. That being most relevant to my own behavior change project. So, with the vocational skills, they were able to find 6 studies that were specifically about teaching adults and adolescents vocational skills. There were 10 subjects out of the 6 studies they looked at, and they ranged in age from 16 to 45 years old, all male. So what they did, we'll take a look at dependent variables. So they were looking at vocational skills, specifically preparing for work, mascot skills, and cleaning offices, among others. The independent variable is behavioral skills training, video modeling, and most to least prompting. Again, there's several studies involved, so there's not a single variable and there's not a single independent variable. Treatment fidelity, unfortunately, was not provided in any of the studies, so that's definitely a knock against it. Nor was inter-observer agreement data recorded. So the results, they looked at calculating the effect size of all the treatments involved on all the dependent variables involved. So when they were calculating this, they would take pairs of data points from an individual study. So they draw a data point randomly from the baseline phase, and they draw a data point randomly from the treatment phase. And so basically they took these random data points and they put it into a formula, which I'm going to simplify a little bit here for the purposes of explanation. But it was basically improved data point pairs over total data point pairs. And the vocational skills group showed a really strong effect size of 94.4. So basically 94% of the time they showed improvements in the randomly drawn data pairs. So, for conclusions, you could say that behavioral interventions in general show strong effects in adolescent and adult populations in their ability to develop vocational skills. The limitations were definitely lack of inter-observer agreement data and fidelity data. And I also noticed only 55% of the studies that they did, I'm rounding up a little bit, had generalization data taken there. So that's another area that they could be improved in. But otherwise, I thought it was a really strong article, and I felt it was relevant to my behavior change project. Thank you.